So, hi. It's been a while. I'm waiting for this video to get like 3 to 2 views a minimum. It's been a long time. I said I would post it on Sunday, Monday, like a year ago. And now it's Monday for me right now, so yeah. The thing is, I had this video done by that Monday and I was gonna post it. That's the funny part. I had it done, but I never posted it. And the reason why is because while I'm doing the video, most of the video I was gonna post and I look back at it, I'm like, wait, those words weren't spelled right. Wait, that scene, there was a lot of problems, so I had to go over it. And more or less the time I had to redo it over and over because it wouldn't work right. I couldn't save the video to upload it, so it wouldn't work right. And I had an ending planned, but I couldn't finish that either, so I just cut it off and I can put it for something else. But anyway, I had to have parts done and all that. And not only that, but I had to find the creator video for this thing because it was hard to even find 2 videos for this character. And the next character, I only have 1 video ready for him, and it's going to be a pain to find another video, or should I just do that one, have some other videos ready. But yeah, I have this video done. There's not a lot of dialogue between the characters, and I tried to put as much as I could, but there's as much as I could add for dialogue and reactions. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, and hopefully next time I won't wait a year to post the next part. And yeah, thanks, and let's start the video.
Oh, it's just Jared.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Little Nightmares theory video, and I hope you're all well. And today's theory is about the janitor. I've been meaning to write this one up for a while, so I'm just going to go through it as a whole, like I did with the granny and chefs, and theorise about him and the many other questions that we have asked ourselves throughout the game. So go grab yourself a cup of tea or whatever choice of beverage you like, and to the theory mobile. I don't actually own one of those, but I think it would be kind of cool anyway. Anyway, oh, and before I forget, spoiler alert, who is the janitor? So, as you know, the janitor is the first enemy. Besides the leeches that we encounter in the moor, he is very distinctive with his really long arms and his little legs, and what looks like some kind of skin or mask pulled over his eyes or face. To me, he is definitely a character that is one of the most interesting. I feel like as the players of the game, we got to know a lot about the janitor as we spent a lot of the time running away from him, both as Six and the runaway kid, and had to see him in some weird situations, to say the least. But anyway, the janitor's description is as stated: the man with the long arms. With long forgotten things from long forgotten places, he fled the world and found the moor. Now as the janitor, he is a tall tale hiding in the shadows, stalking the silence, a monster alone. So, his description stated that he fled to the moor, meaning there was something or someone he escaped from. Now, we know the world outside the moor was a bit weird, but how bad must it have been for the janitor to want to go to the moor instead of where he was? So what does the janitor do on the moor? So, typically what a janitor means is a caretaker or doorkeeper of a building. Caretaker meaning is a person employed to look after a building, so he would be the one to use those plungers that we see everywhere in the moor, although I've yet to see him clean. But the interesting thing is, he is also like the security on the moor. He's the one who we see patrolling the halls on the lookout for escaped children, and being the one to make sure they don't escape in the first place. He is also the one that we know to capture any escapees, whether that be running after them or setting up traps with cages and bits of food in them to lure hungry children. He of course is also the one who wraps up the children in the cloth that puts them on the meat hooks. But why does he do this? I theorise the whole reason that he could be wrapping them up. We only ever see Roger, the janitor, wrapping up children on the moor, but why could he be doing this? So I first had to try and find what he could be using and taking a look at his workstation. So, what I think he uses to wrap them up is muslin cloth. Muslin cloth is used for many things, but it's also used to wrap meat during the curing process, as the fine fabric lets air in but keeps insects out. There is also what looks like a butcher's twine he uses to wrap the bags with after, to then carefully place these bags on a conveyor belt of meat hooks. So we know these bags are being used to store meat, as we see some small and some big, and we even see these make their way through to the chef level. We also see not all of them, as they are guests, and I know some of the meat is far too big for children, but having a look at this concept art, they could just well be mincing everything together to make some sort of the food. Pie anyone? Ugh. Moving on from that gruesomeness, why bother sticking them into the bags to cure the meat? Well, curing preserves meat so it will last a lot longer, all the while it still keeps being safe and edible to consume. So yes, my conclusion is that he's wrapping them up to keep them fresh. As we know, thanks to the Runaway Kids chapter, he isn't just wrapping up dead children. The Runaway Kid was very much alive when he was wrapped up. Now, for the next part of the theory, we'll be talking about, was the janitor blind? I don't think he was, and here's why. He does a lot around the moor, but one of the things he seems to do a lot is woodworking. We know he physically must carve them out, especially seeing as there's so many wood shavings on the floor. So with him also being a toy maker, he has a very specific attention to detail, as if he's seen these things before. Sure, he could just feel them, but I still feel he puts way too much detail into what he's making to not have seen them before. And the best evidence I feel for this is the wooden gnome he made. I mean, he also carved the eye symbol into it. So if he didn't come onto the moor blind, how did he go blind? Well, when we look at the janitor, there are visible marks on his forehead that could have been in some kind of fight. But what if I told you I believe there's more to this, and the janitor could have a very dark secret? So, what could this dark secret be? So what if I told you that I believe the janitor killed the hanging man? Now I know it's a bold statement to make, and I've made so many videos on it in the past, but it's always one of those questions that have very tickled my brain. So let me give you my points that will back up this theory and why I think it could well be the janitor. Number 1, he's the only person, apart from the mystery doorman, who I believe is the bellman, we know in the prison where the hanging man is. We not only see him in the middle of the chapter, but even at the start we see hints of him. For example, the chair and the hat on the other side of the planks before you fall into the leeches area. Number 2, he also is the only person that we know of that travels around the moor using gaps in the ceiling to get to different levels, using his long arms. Number 3, he has an obsession with hanging things. Rats, bags with mysterious, maybe children or gnomes inside of them. And the only time you ever really see the mice and rats hang by their tails is before you encounter the janitor. Even in the hideaway, he is hanging toys by nooses around their necks up on the ceiling. Is this a hint in game that he is the one who killed the hanging man, as we can now fully say that the janitor has experience in making a noose? And with his long arms, it justifies him reaching that place where the rope is placed. Number 4, he has what looks like red blood on his jacket. Now this seems to be a bit of a mystery, as we've never seen the janitor handle any kind of meat, and that seems to be the chef's job anyway. The stain reminded me of blood I've seen on the moor, so I went through the game to see where you encounter it. And I found it here, in the secret room in the prison, which just so happens to be the same level we see the hanging man and the janitor. In fact, above this room is where we see the janitor enter the children's room. What if the blood on the janitor, the scratches on his head, and the skin pulled down over his eyes and causing his blindness is due to maybe a fight with the hanging man before the janitor murdered him? Oh my shoes in the fridge, what a plot twist. But anyway, guys and gals, what do you think? That's my theory for the janitor possibly being a murderer. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if any theories you've got of your own about the janitor, I would love to hear them, and the community would too. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching today's theory video, and if you enjoyed it, please drop a like and a comment, or any of the two, that's totally up to you. And remember to subscribe, guys, if you want to see some more Little Nightmares theories, and some other game theories as well also. With that being said though, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not been getting your notifications these past few theory videos, it's because you need to click the bell when you click subscribe, because YouTube now, even though you click subscribe, won't send you a notification when the channel's uploaded, even though you have subscribed. But if you click the bell, you'll be notified immediately. But remember guys, subscribe for more Little Nightmares content and some more game theory content. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you the best morning, day or night wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all in the next theory video. Bye! Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Little Nightmares 2 theory video, and I wanted to today analyse and theorise about a very interesting cheese secret room in the Little Nightmares 2 demo, and why this room in particular is frightening and full of information at the same time. So this is your spoiler warning. So this theory video will obviously contain information from the Little Nightmares 2 demo and possibly the trailers. Anyway, with that out of the way, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to two members that actually asked me about this secret room and prompted me to go check it out. And they're Ryan Smith on Twitter and 2D on Discord. Thank you both so much. So, with that being said, let us continue on in this video. So, when Mono enters the bedroom through the vent in the wall, we come across a rather lovely looking toilet. Gross. Ew. Then, of course, we see this lovely bit of cheese on a plate, with an eye wrote onto the wall next to it. Now, when I first saw this, I thought it was a little Easter egg in itself, and a throwback to the chef who loved to stuff cheese in his pocket. But after being informed about the possibility that we missed a secret room, I of course had to go and check it for myself. And lo and behold, here it is. So if we take the cheese and head up rather than down, we come across a gap in the bars, which have been purposely cut open. You can see this by the evidence left behind on the floor in the form of the saw that is used to cut through these metal bars, and the rust around the ones cut. As we carry on, we see a door, one we have not seen during this demo, but in Little Nightmares, the prison chapter. As we enter, we are greeted with an explosion of hints and mystery. Not only is there a huge gaping hole that has been dug through with what looks like these spoons scattered around the place, there seems to be something in there. But before we get into that, notice how the walls are littered with the same tally markings as 6 did in the Hunter's chapter in the room, the one we saw on the trailer, automatically leaving us to note that someone was trapped in here marking down their days, just like 6 was in that room. We also notice an eye symbol on the wall among all these markings, also a hint to drop the piece of cheese into the hole. And last but not least, the most weirdest thing of all, the hole that has been dug. But what's worse is that it contains an enemy to Mono and children alike. That's right, another thing trying to hurt us in the world of Little Nightmares. Surprise. But what is this creature exactly? When we take a listen, it sounds pretty simple. It sounds like a bunch of rats. Take a listen. Seems pretty harmless, right? Well, not in this world. You see, these rats seem pretty hungry, and chucking them in the cheese, they seem to eat it right up. But what happens when Mono enters? Yep, he's also pulled apart just like that piece of cheese. And I know what you're thinking. My, how the tables have turned. So, the creature is just some hungry rats? Well, actually, I don't think it is. And I think this is the game's sneaky way of throwing us off guard with the cheese and the rat noises. But, as we all know, half of what makes this game what it is our ability to test things and find evidence ourselves, so we can come up with what is our own conclusion. So I'm going to theorise what my conclusion of this is, and it isn't just some rats. Evidence number 1. When you chuck things other than a piece of cheese in the hole, it gets thrown back up. We know the sizes of rats as we have seen them all in the mall. They wouldn't be able to throw things like that heavily and that big back up at that speed. Evidence number 2. The sound of the cheese being thrown in and the eating sounds like something not rat-like has consumed it. But the sound from when Mono jumps in sounds like the rats are attacking him. Take a listen to the audio. But why would they sound so different? If there are rats trapped in there who are starving and desperate, truth is they would eat Mono if needed, not be picky. So really the sound shouldn't be all that different, not to mention how fast the cheese was consumed. Evidence number 3. Rats and mice are very good climbers and can even climb up vertical walls if it's rough enough, which to me would be perfect for this hole, as someone has spent a lot of time in there trying to escape by burrowing with spoons, and you can even see the leftover evidence of the removed concrete, so the rats or mice wouldn't be trapped in there, especially as they could also just burrow even further till they found an escape route. So, with the evidence there, what could it be? I'm not entirely convinced it's just rats. I believe it could be a creature created, another one of the Doctor's experiments, and here's why. When we chuck unwanted items into the pit, it chucks them back. We see the same behaviour in the mannequins when we hand them the ball. It seems to hold it for a split second and then chucks it back again, yet Mono never gets the same fate. We see broken body parts, that of a shoe and foot, and that part of an arm or leg. We also know that the humanoid created creatures are in these small rooms, which we see when the hands come out bursting through the doors in hopes to catch Mono, who is so innocently running down the corridor to avoid their clutches. But this room has a bit of a twist. Not only are these rooms locked and are prison rooms in themselves, this particular room is also gate locked and isolated from the other rooms. Notice the prison-like gates in front of the door and at the back further down the corridor. Is this the Doctor's way of isolating his special experiments from all the others? They would have been very tall. Notice how the tally marks are all over each wall. If we compare this to Six's room, you can see that Six only drew in places she was able to reach, so we know it's less likely that a child was locked up in here, marking up those tallies. But whoever it was must have had help from someone little. And here's why. The gate that's been broken into would have had to have been done by someone small, based on the size of the opening, but why would they have needed the help of someone small? Spoons. How would someone who was trapped here be able to get so many spoons in order to try and dig their way out of here? There's a gap in the door that's perfect enough for someone to sneak them spoons, and even cans of food. You can even see evidence of the person getting out of the hole, as there is dirt marks on the left side of the floor that is bigger towards the entrance, but lessens towards the door. This also makes me wonder if the toilet we see is actually filled with excess dirt. As if you're digging a hole, you need somewhere to remove the dirt while you're digging. And it looks like it was being hidden in the toilet in the room where you find the piece of cheese. If this was a created creature, it could be down there with rats. Or could it have been a special experiment and had been crossed with a rat? It's possible. But what if the hole and the creature in it, rat or not, isn't what the secret room is all about? What if I told you I theorise that there is a link to the moor here, and a very well-known character in it? Someone who was made here, someone who, in their description, escaped to the outside world to the moor. Someone whose long arms would be perfect to write on the tallest parts of these rooms without a single problem. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. What if I told you I theorise that this room is the janitor's room and where he was kept and he had escaped from? We have already found evidence of a room where we see the janitor's mask linking him here. Even if we take a look at his behaviour at the moor and tie it into this very room, it actually adds up. The rat sounds, the janitor's obsession with being able to catch them and hang them upside down, the spoons. We witness the janitor weirdly reacting to a spoon in the toy room at the moor. Could it be because he remembers digging his way out of the place with hundreds of spoons? We also know that the person who was created and trapped in this room would have to have had some sort of free-thinking ability. The doctor wouldn't have had full control over them, as if that was the case, they wouldn't have tried to escape. And we know Roger, aka the janitor, isn't as he seems, and if this is true, this could mean that the janitor had help from a child to escape himself once. Could this be why he is so lenient on the children of the moor, and he seems a less aggressive enemy than most? And we have to remember, he is blind on the moor. We seem to see two different sides of him at times. The typical janitor who stops children from escaping and traps them in traps, wraps them up and places them on hooks, and then the janitor we see checking up on the sleeping children while a music box is playing a lullaby and chasing after an escaped child who he takes back to the room. It's interesting to think, is he really doing this because he's scared for the children to get out of the moor, to the more horror and nightmares that await them outside of the moor? Either way, this room has made me so excited to play the game and uncover more secrets and mysteries. But let me know what you guys think, ladies and gentlemen. Could this be the janitor's escape room? Something else? Let me know in the comments below. And with that being said, I'd like to take a quick minute to thank the members of the channel, and they are the following: That Girl with the Afro, North Wind, Chris Pine, Mr. Dragon, Jessica DeHaro, Green Apple Gaming, Nearly One, Newly New, Alina, and DF. Thank you so much for your support, guys and gals. It's very much appreciated. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for watching this theory video on Little Nightmares 2. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to drop a like and remember to hit subscribe if you're enjoying the content. It really helps me out a lot and boosts the channel a bit. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you the best morning, day or night wherever you are in the world. Stay safe and I will see you all in the next theory video. Bye!